1794 AD, 5688 AM. Mount Vesuvius in Italy erupted. Stones rain from the sky over Tuscany. Historians have connected the two events despite the known fact that Vesuvius's eruption was not powerful enough to launch stone debris into the atmosphere to rain down on Tuscany. As seen in CHRONICON 1, the falling of stones from the sky, even on a clear day, had been recorded many times. Erasmus Darwin released his Zoonomia, or the Laws of Organic Life, proposing a general concept of biological evolution, 65 years before Charles Darwin published On the Origin of Species in 1859. Ernst Chladni and Heinrich Olbers of Germany defend the controversial notion that meteorites were of extraterrestrial origin, offering a scientific explanation. 1. Book of the Damned. 2. Breaking the God Spell. 3. Human Accomplishment. 1797 AD, 5691 AM. An earthquake at Quito, Ecuador killed 41,000 people. 1798 AD, 5692 AM. Napoleon Bonaparte, a Corsican, led 70,000 French troops into Egypt and defeated the Turks at the Battle of the Pyramids, which was not really fought in the vicinity of the pyramids at all. Napoleon's train included many scientists. A mathematician with the French surveyors studying the ruins in Egypt measured the Great Pyramid's dimensions and concluded that there was enough stonework to build a wall 9 foot high around the whole of France. Napoleon said, quote, "I feel myself driven towards an end that I do not know. As soon as I shall have reached it, and as soon as I shall become unnecessary, an atom will suffice to shatter me. Till then, not all the forces of mankind can do anything against me." Unquote. As the Jews were avid supporters of the French Revolution, Napoleon did not trust them. In fact, Napoleon remarked that the Jews are the master robbers of the modern age. He said, quote, "We ought to ban the Jews from commerce because they abuse it." Unquote. Napoleon's general Berthier captured the Pope of Rome and sent him in chains to France, where he later died. Many hold that this was prophesied in the scriptures, for this was 1260 years exactly after 538 AD, when the Pope was declared supreme over all Christendom by the Emperor Justinian. The beast received its deadly wound. Also in this year, John Robinson, a professor and high-degree Mason of the Scottish Rite, published his book entitled, quote, "Proofs of a Conspiracy Against All the Religions and Governments of Europe, carried on in the secret meetings of the Freemasons, Illuminati and Reading Societies." Unquote. He was a professor of the prestigious Edinburgh University, who in 1783 had been elected General Secretary of the Royal Society. He disclosed data given to him personally by Adam Weishaupt. 1. The Decline of the West. 2. March of the Titans. 3. Jewish Supremacism. 4. Synagogue of Satan. 1799 AD, 5693 AM. Napoleon Bonaparte becomes the first consul of France. In Egypt, the French scientists excavated many ancient Egyptian sites. The French scholar François Jomard measured the Great Pyramid at a height of 144 metres, 481 feet high. On August 12th, Napoleon stayed alone in the king's chamber, and later emerged looking pale and haggard. He did not explain what he experienced, though his associates claimed that something indeed transpired inside the structure. Napoleon asserted on his deathbed that no one would ever believe him if he told the truth about his experience. Napoleon's archaeologists discovered the famous Rosetta Stone, a trilingual inscription monument written in Egyptian hieroglyphs, Demotic script and Greek, that would later prove to be the key to deciphering the elusive hieroglyphs. The Rosetta Stone was made in 196 BC by Ptolemy V, called Epiphanes. Alessandro Volta invented the modern battery. In this year, George Washington died on Mount Vernon, and the entire nation of the United States mourned the passing of this living legend. 1. Pyramid Quest. 2. Historical Deception. 1800 AD, 5694 AM. The federal government of the United States moved to Washington, D.C. The Library of Congress was founded. On October the 11th, 6 earthquake shocks occurred in California. As North America is the last days land of promise, the new Israel filled with the blood of descendants of the migrating Israelites. This year of 1800 AD was precisely 2520 years, 360 times 7, after the last of the 10 tribes of Israel were deported by the Assyrians in 721 BC. This North American start for the centre of authority was 1,000 years after the European centre of authority over the Israelite descendants began in 800 AD with Charlemagne and the Holy Roman Empire. 1. The complete story of the San Francisco Horror. 1801 AD, 5695 AM. The ports of the Mediterranean and Europe were now seeing a lot of merchant vessels from the United States. For decades, the piracy had increased in the Mediterranean, known as the Barbary Coast Pirates, who ruled from Tripoli. The United States embarks on the Tripolitan War against Libya to end the piracy of American ships. Astronomers looking for another planet in the empty region between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter, as predicted by the Titius-Bode law of planetary distances, instead find the asteroid belt, long thought to be the remains of an extinct planet. G. Piazzi of Palermo, Sicily, discovered the asteroid Ceres on January 1st. French engineer and archaeologist Edmé-François Jomard and astronomer N.A. Nouet counted 203 as the number of courses in the Great Pyramid's masonry. This is correct, for the 204th piece of the monument is missing, known as the chief cornerstone, the structure being a lithic prophecy of the return of God to earth in 2106. This saviour in the prophetic texts named the chief cornerstone. 1. Introduction to comets. 2. The Great Pyramids, Cortegiani. 1802 AD, 5696 AM. The asteroid Pallas was discovered. Heinrich Olbers of Germany argued that asteroids are fragments of an exploded planet. 1. Introduction to comets. 2. Human accomplishment.